So I'd like to tell you about an experience that I and my family had about 5 years ago. You see, I grew up on a farm and really appreciated my time there. It was a great space, lots of area, and I just really enjoyed my time there. You know, there was always lots of work to be done as well. But with that, there was time for play, and we had dirt bikes and pedal bikes, and in this case, even a moped that we had for a time. So I just really appreciated growing up there and was looking forward to an opportunity to bring my family to the farm. Now my family at the time, and still is, have 4 kids and my lovely wife, who was a family of 5. And so we were living for a time in a nice house that was kind of on the outskirts of Newmarket. And there was a good bit of space there for them to play with, to play in, swings, all that kind of stuff. They enjoyed the space, but it wasn't quite that farm experience that I was hoping for them. They'd get out to the farm now and then, help their grandparents and my parents clean up the yard, enjoy some of the items that were at the farm. There was a trampoline that they all really enjoyed playing on. It was just a great opportunity. And we'd come out many times out to the farm and visit. Well, one time, about 5 years ago, I said, hey guys, let's pack up, hop in the van, and we're gonna head out to the farm. And when we got there, I said to them, welcome home. Well, they looked at me with a bit of puzzlement. What do you mean, welcome home? I said, yeah, really, welcome home. We're gonna stay here, and we're going to build on the home that's here, and this is gonna become our home. Well, the home that was on the farm, it was a nice little farmhouse, but it certainly wasn't big enough for my parents and my family of 6. And so while we started to work on this home renovation addition project, we decided to live in what we affectionately called our cottage. Now you see, our cottage is a building out back on the property. It's about 25 feet by 15 feet. And we decided that we'd move in there for about a year and make use of that space while we did our building project. We figured too that the kids would enjoy some camping. The kids love camping. We'd done a lot of camping here and there, and you can see that there's some tents just in the background where the kids camped during the summer. Well, that was a good time for about 2 weeks. And after about 2 weeks of enjoying that space, we found that the kids were not quite as happy. In fact, what we found was that that building project that we figured was going to be about a year turned into about 3 years. But that's a bit of a different story. But what I want to share with you today is how I discovered that a renovation project is actually an opportunity, not just to build something new with your home, but it's an opportunity to build something new with your relationship. And for us, this became our renovation relationship rehab. Well, you might be saying to yourself, renovations, relationships? Typically when those two things go together, things start going south. Arguments can ensue all over the place. It could be design, it could be money, it could be lots of different things that can all go wrong in relationships. Typically, renovations do not help your relationship. But I want to share with you a few things that I discovered in the process. That there are 3 main areas where my renovation experience translated into the relationship experience of changes with my wife. 3 main areas. Well, any renovation, especially a renovation that involves improving the efficiency of your home, really starts with your furnace. You see, your furnace is the single largest energy user in your home. And typically they've been in your home for 10 to 15 years. They're getting old and inefficient. And that's really what I discovered about the furnace, was that they were old and inefficient and just ready to be replaced. I mean, the fact is that any furnace that you have in your home now, a brand new one is more efficient than that was, probably even when it was made. But the fact that it's been in there for 10 or 15 years means that over time it has become less and less efficient. And replacing that furnace with a new one is your first step in starting to save money and making a better renovation. So what did we do in our home? Well, we took that furnace and got it out of there, to hold it right outside the door, and we replaced it with a completely different heating system. We replaced it with something completely modern that included radiant floor heating and included a wall-hung boiler, very efficient, and computer controls and piping to do the water-based heating in the floor. The whole system became completely efficient and was a complete replace and change from what we had earlier. Well, in my relationship, I realized that there were some things there that weren't working well. And this was the look that was sometimes on our face during those times. Not really happy with how things were going on. And it too was ready to have things that were old and inefficient thrown out the door. Some of those things for us were date nights. You know, a lot of times and for a lot of years, we simply weren't having date nights. Life went on, the kids are keeping us busy. It could be babysitters are hard to get, are hard to come by, not easily available. And even when they were available, sometimes those date nights were maybe less than stellar. And they were just ripe to be changed up. So what were some of those things we changed those up with and replaced? Well, we started by getting away. You know, there's nothing like a vacation to bring a new spark into your relationship. We started doing some things like taking dance lessons, learning how to do the tango, the cha-cha, you know, these kinds of things. We're starting to create new dynamics on a relationship. And it really was about taking out the old and replacing it with some new and efficient things in our life. Well, the second place in your home that is your next place to go after in terms of energy efficiency in your renovation is insulation. You know, insulation is that element in your home that keeps that heat inside. And the two main areas of heat escape in your home are up into your attic. About 30 to 40% of your lost heat rises up through your house, goes out through the attic and out through the eaves, and then just goes outside that way. The second place in your home to look at is your basement. You know, a lot of homes, especially homes that don't have a finished basement, there's insulation down to about the 4-foot level, and there's just concrete from there down. The attic and your basement are the two main areas that are very easily available to you to add insulation into. So that's what we did in our home in this renovation project. We added quite a bit of cellulose insulation up into the attic to create an R50 insulated space. And then down in our basement that had like rubble stone walls, we covered that up with rock solid insulation that helped keep the heat from just escaping outside and through those walls. The second place, the first place, your furnace, replace the old and inefficient. The second place is the insulation to keep that heat in. Well, back with my relationship with my wife, I was finding that as we had changed some stuff up, there was now an opportunity to bring some of those elements and start keeping the heat in. As you can see, we're starting to look a little bit happier. In fact, the changes that we'd made, the date nights and so forth, were creating some more heat and, quite frankly, some more connection. Things were moving in a really good direction. Now, the third place then to start looking at your home renovation is the opportunities that have come by saving money. We've replaced the furnace, we're saving money there. We've added insulation, and the heat that is being put into the house is now being kept into the house, so we're not having to put as much heat in there. Again, we're saving money through that. And each month in our utility bills, we're saving money that we can put directly into our pocket. Well, it now brings the opportunity to create new things. So, it might be the kitchen. It might be the granite countertop that you're looking to make, or in our case, we used quartz in the kitchen that we redesigned. Or it could be an office space that you're looking to shift up or create a new office space. In our case, we created a whole new office space that included some of our own wood from our own property that just created a really unique, rustic living space for us that would also be functional. These were some of the areas that we found that we could take some of those savings and create new things in our space. Well, likewise on the relationship, we've changed up, we've taken out some of those old and inefficient things that we were doing. We're creating new experiences, we're getting out into new places, and it really is creating for us a completely new dynamic amongst I and my wife. In fact, that dynamic is starting to move over into our kids. You know, the house is warmer, the whole atmosphere in the house is now warm and cozy, and you know, the kids are now walking around with their, you know, pajama pants, and it just has created a whole new dynamic in the home. What we found in this whole experience really was that in our home renovation project, it really was an opportunity to renovate not just the home, and in our case, build an addition to the home, but actually renovate our relationship. And you know, the truth about renovations is they're never really done. There are still parts of our home that we're working on, and there's still parts of our relationship that we're working on as well. So I'd just like to remind you, and next time that you find yourself with an opportunity to renovate your home, keep in mind that it might not just be about your home, but your relationship as well.